My coffee, Rania.
Okay, so
My
great.
coffee.
Yes. Okay, it's a great evening once again, and this is Akash Babad, founder CEO of Babad International Publication, author CEO of ABCD International Family, and I would like to share that we are on fourth summit of the series of five summit, which we are discussing about the five pillars of life. And in each summit, we discuss about one pillar, and each pillar, I personally believe as a coach, as a founder, as entrepreneur, and I believe that if we want to be successful, we have to be success in all five pillars of life, like personal growth, professional growth, social health, and spirituality. If we maintain balance in all five sectors, then we can say, yes, the person who or she is successful. And that's why the five pillars series is going on, and now the fourth summit is there. And would like to start with that. So today we are discussing about lead to impact. So today's summit is lead to impact, and the tagline is build influence, relationship, and meaningful connections. So as we all know, we are working on social growth. So if we have our if we are working on ourselves, if we have good career and business, if we have good health, and we are spiritual also. But if we have everything and we don't have people to celebrate, then what happened? We can't enjoy the success. And that's why the social impact is very important. How people see us, how are imaging social things. So we will discuss about that and how we can create our impact, our image. So to start without wasting so much time, I would like to invite amazing professor uh, Jelena ma'am. So sorry for the pronunciation, ma'am, but it's really honor for us to welcome you on this amazing platform and welcome you. Over to you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much. Respected, dear ladies and gentlemen, respected Excellency Akash Badad, respected my dear friends, Professor Dr. Rania Lampau. I am especially grateful for the invitation to you, Excellency Akash Badad, to honorable guest speaker, ABC International Family Team, Lead to Impact. My topic today, how humanity is linked with science. The 20th century saw more momentous change than any previous century change for better, change for worse, change that brought enormous benefits to human beings, changed the very existence of the human species, impact of lead, impact of our life. Many factors contribute to this change, but in my opinion, the most important factor was the progress in science during the 21st century, and particularly over previous couple of decades. Research has greatly increased our understanding of the elemental constitution of matter, the origin of the universe, the evolution of life on Earth, the structure and performance of biological, and far more, at the identical time, the progress that science have made has provided unforced power, which enable used to vary our lives, our future, lead, impact, and our world to good benefits the science has offered should make us forget that this power can even have negative consequences. It's an element that has contributed a damage to its natural environment is being what to construct weapons of mass destruction remained. With power come the responsibility to use it visibly. At the dawn of the 21st century, science finds itself in an existing challenging situation. Today, there are more professionally trained scientists elite than all told previous generation combined together. At the identical time, take the tip of conflict military industrial complexes and their scientific cadres are declining as consequence of economic conservation of two civilian industry. These free up resources with which a number of humankind's most pressing challenges can be addressed, like food supply, public health, global temperature change, or the protection of biodiversity. What is man for today? The globalization of market, production, and finance may result in shift from national research and development priority toward worldwide network research activity, calling existing state-led research infrastructure into question, destroy the war today, Russia, Ukraine, Gaza, much problem in the world with science, academic research in the physical and biological science has vastly blended our horizon and given us deep insight into structure matter of the universe in the broad, better understanding of the nature of life and its continuous evolution. Technology, the application of science, has made fantastic advance. The he affected use beneficially in nearly every aspect of life, better health, more wealth, less drudgery, great access to information in lead today impact our life. Is very, very interesting preservation. Human species is contaminating enhancement demand led to live with to another peace and harmony. Impact development science today. We are the natural science, especially the physical science, advance to so much faster than social science is much problem today with man, with the scientists suggest the ethical community composed of eminent scientists is from different specialty should set the task of examining potentially harmful long-term effect the proposed research project the end. Few people are aware how rapidly science and technology are development. To illustrate, is some information more than 19% of all scientific discovery and technological innovation in human history occur in the 20th century, and more than 99% of all human innovation are accepted to occur on this, the 21st century. Thus, 1% we discovered from the 20th century is, especially today, artificial superintelligence, genetic recombination genes, gene technology, climate change is much problem today. Today, this century, in which the decades, the golden age of humanity or the twilight of civilization, we must restore trust in science and technology, which, unfortunately, have too often been used only the satisfactory partial, narrow interest. After all, we have nothing else at our disposal. I am philosophy, science. I like education in higher education, higher institution. I I love men in the world, good men. Thank you very much, my dear friends. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. I now go. My son is MAR, MAR brain. My son have tumor in brain. Is big problem. I know I much work with problem for 10 years. Thank you very much. I love you. I love you so much. I love you. It's my life.
Yes, thank you, ma'am, for amazing sharing. Thank you once again. And
It's a
as
true. It's a true my life. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
yes, thank you, ma'am. Please take
Goodbye.
care.
Goodbye, my dear friends. I love you so
Like,
much. You, my Rania, my Gloria, I love you so much. I love you so much. Best regards to Yelena. Goodbye.
thank you. So we will move ahead with amazing one more amazing guest speaker with us. So we'd like to invite Dr. Rania Lambu from Greece. She's an educator, STEAM expert. So welcome, ma'am, and over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, Dr. Jelena. And I'm very happy to be here today. As in ABCD family many years now, since the first day of its foundation. So it's my great pleasure to warmly welcome each and every one of you today, me too. And we have a powerful topic today because success is no longer measured only by what we know or what we achieve individually. True growth comes from the people we meet, the relationships we nurture, and the meaningful connections that we create. And influence, of course, is not, we could say, authority, but it's how we inspire others positively. Relationships are the foundations of trust, of collaboration and support, and meaningful connections are what turn simple interactions into lasting impact. So I will focus today on the science of human connection, lasting influence, because I'm coming from the neuroscience background. I'm a researcher in cognitive neuroscience and neuroeducation many years now. So what is happening here? Human beings are wired for connection because long before we developed complex language or technology, survival depended on our ability to bond, to cooperate, and understand one another. Today, even in a hyper-digital world, this fundamental wiring remains unchanged. The science of human connection reveals a powerful truth that lasting influence is not built through persuasion alone, but how deeply we connect with others on a psychological and emotional level. Understanding the science helps explain why people naturally inspire trust and loyalty, while others struggle to maintain influence despite skill or authority. So the human brain is built for connection. And human connection is a biological necessity, not a social preference. The brain is designed to seek belonging, to recognize social cues we need in others to interact, to grow, and respond to emotional signals. One of the most fascinating discoveries here in neuroscience is the role of mirror neurons, which says that these neurons allow us to mirror the emotions and behaviors of others. So when we see someone smile, we unconsciously feel a similar emotional response. When we observe stress or tension, we often feel it ourselves. This is what we call mirror neurons. And this neural mirroring is one reason empathy feels natural. It also explains why emotional states can spread quickly in teams, families, and communities. Leaders and communicators who understand this dynamic can shape environments simply through presence and behavior. The social psychology, what tells us about this? Why we follow people and not just ideas? The field of social psychology explains how influence works at a deeper level. So according to this field, people are strongly influenced by perceived trust, similarity, and emotional safety. We are more likely to be influenced by individuals who make us feel understood, or show consistency between words or actions, or those who demonstrate warmth and authenticity, or who reflect the values we can identify with. This means influence is less about logical argument and more about relational resonance, as we say. And people don't just evaluate what is being said, evaluate who is saying it and how this makes them feel. Another issue has to do with emotional contagion. This is somehow the invisible transfer of influence. It's one of the most powerful yet invisible forces in human interaction because it's this phenomenon where emotions spread between people without conscious effort. When someone enters the room with calm confidence or the dynamism, others tend to settle. When someone is anxious or negative, this energy can quickly spread through the group. This is not abstract psychology, it's a measurable behavior rooted in neurological emotional responsiveness. And this is why lasting influence is often emotional, because it becomes intellectual. And people remember how they felt around someone long after they forget what was said. Trust, if we talk about relationships, trust plays a central role in how the brain processes information. Because when trust exists, the brain reduces its defensive filtering and becomes more open to ideas. Without trust, even good ideas are often resisted. And from a neurological perspective, trust lowers perceived risk. It creates psychological safety, allowing individuals to engage, to explore, and collaborate more freely. And this is why leaders, educators, and communicators who invest in trust building often experience stronger long-term influence than those who rely purely on authority or expertise. The role of oxytocin in connection is another key biological factor in human bonding, is what I call oxytocin. It is often associated with feelings of trust and social bonding. Positive interactions, such as active listening or empathy or genuine appreciation, can increase oxytocin levels, strengthening social bonds. While of course, influence is often thought of as a strategic, biology suggests something simpler, that people are more likely to be influenced by those who make them feel safe, valued, and understood. So remember this. And connection always creates lasting influence. Lasting influence fundamentally relational. Connection builds memory because people remember emotionally meaningful interactions. It creates loyalty. People stay aligned with those they trust. Openness, people are more receptive to ideas, and collaboration because people willingly contribute effort and creativity. So without connection, influence fades quickly. With connection, influence deepens over time. So science shows that connection is not accidental, it is behavioral, it can be strengthened through intentional habits such as the active listening without interruption. It is very underestimated nowadays, the listening in general. Reflecting emotions before responding, or when we show curiosity about others' perspectives, when we maintain consistency between our words and actions, when we are present in conversations and not distractive, and we acknowledge others' contributions sincerely. These behaviors may seem simple, but their impact on the brain and emotional system is profound. So neuroscience, psychology, behavioral research all point to the same conclusion, that people are influenced most by those they trust, they understand, and feel connected to. And in this world now, driven by speed and digital interaction, the most powerful form of influence remains deeply human. It is built through connection, not through control, through trust, and not through authority, and through understanding better, not speaking louder. Now, I want also to mention a great tool today for leadership and connection is what we call storytelling. Storytelling is one of the oldest and most powerful tools of human communication, but in leadership is a communication skill, of course, but it's also a bridge between ideas and human connection, because storytelling transforms information into meaning and meaning into influence. So why the brain remembers stories and not just facts? Because human memory is built for meaning, emotion, and structure. It's not built for raw data. This is why stories are far more memorable than isolated facts or instructions. So research in neuroscience shows that stories activate multiple areas of the brain at the same time: language processing, the sensory perception, and emotional response. When a story is engaging, the brain doesn't just process it, it experiences it. So this is closely connected to how humans interpret and store experiences through patterns and meaning-making systems, which is studied in narrative psychology. And narrative psychology suggests that people they do not simply remember events as isolated moments. They actually organize their lives into stories. And leaders who understand this can communicate it in a way that aligns with how the brain naturally processes information. So stories build actually emotional connection. Facts inform, but stories connect. When a leader shares a story, something powerful happens. But listeners begin to emotionally place themselves within the experiences, the mirror neurons that I mentioned before. And this is supported by the brain's natural capacity for empathy and emotional mirroring when individuals internally simulate their experiences of others. So a well-told story can trigger emotions such as hope, inspiration, fear, trust. These emotional responses are what make messages memorable and impactful. If a leader says, for example, we must work harder, this is instruction. But if a leader shares a story about overcoming failure through persistence, this creates emotional alignment. And people don't just understand the message, they feel it. That's why leadership through stories, it's about moving from authority to influence. And traditional leadership, we know that this relied on instructional policies and directives. Now, modern leadership depends heavily on influence and impact. Influence is deeply tied to emotional resonance. So, storytelling allows leaders to translate vision into something relatable, to humanize complex goals, to build trust through vulnerability, to align teams around shared meaning. When leaders tell stories about challenges, failures, and growth, they actually become more relatable. And this authenticity strengthens trust. People are more likely to follow a leader they understand and emotionally connect with than one who simply issues commands. So, storytelling is emotional, of course, but it's also cognitive because it shapes how people interpret reality. So, when information is delivered in a story form, the brain is less likely to resist it because instead of evaluating arguments defensively, listeners become immersed in the narrative. And this reduces psychological resistance and increases openness to ideas. So storytelling acts as a mental bridge between logic and emotion because it allows complex ideas to be absorbed naturally rather than forced. And this is why great leaders, educators, communicators often rely on stories to explain strategy, values, and vision. And if we think about the relationship between identity and story, how people see themselves through narratives, one of the most powerful aspects of storytelling is the connection to identity, because people do not just listen to stories, they place themselves inside them. So when leaders share stories of resilience, of teamwork, etc., listeners begin to ask, where do I fit in this story? And this is where impact and influence becomes deeply personal. A story can shape how individuals see themselves, what they believe they are capable of, and what role they play in a larger purpose. When we say that this speech inspired me, it was inspiring, it's exactly what I mean now. We shift the way that individuals see themselves. So leadership storytelling, it's about sharing experiences, but it's about mostly shaping shared identity. And what makes a story powerful in leadership, because not all stories create impact. Effective leadership stories typically include authenticity. We need real experiences and not exaggerated narratives. We need conflict, a challenge or struggle that creates tension. We need emotion, honest expression of feelings, stakes. We need transformation, a clear shift or outcome, or a clear lesson, and relevance, a connection to the audience reality. Without all these elements, a story becomes information, and with them, it becomes influence. So finally, the ultimate power of storytelling lies in its ability to move leadership from communication to connection. Communication is about transferring information. Connection is about shared understanding, and stories achieve both at the same time. They inform the mind and they engage the heart. That's why teams, organizations, and communities, this connection leads to stronger collaboration, deeper trust, and greater alignment towards shared goals. So by concluding, I want to say that we live in a world filled with constant information. What I mentioned before about the human brain, how the human brain reacts, and how we need others to evolve and grow. And at the same time, I mentioned about storytelling, which is a soft skill, but I could say more that it's a leadership force. It shapes how people interpret meaning, how they build trust, and decide whom to follow. So leaders who master these skills, they communicate, but they connect, inspire, and influence lasting change. Because in the end, people may forget numbers and distractions, but they rarely forget a story that makes them feel something. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Good evening, Dr. Gloria. Very happy to see you here.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
ma'am.
Dr. Akash.
We would like to invite Gloria ma'am from Nigeria. So welcome ma'am, and over to you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon from Nigeria. All protocols duly observed. Thank you very much for inviting me to this session. Before I begin, permit me to tell you a short story. There was once a young boy who lived in a small village. Every morning, he watched an old man walk slowly across the community carrying a lantern, even during daylight. Confused, the boy finally asked him one day, "Sir, why do you carry a lantern when the sun is already shining?" The old man smiled and replied, "I'm not carrying this lantern for myself. I carry it for those who are still struggling to find their path." The boy laughed and said, "But your lantern is too small to light the whole village." The old man looked at him gently and answered, "My son, darkness does not disappear because one person lights the whole world. Darkness disappears because each person chooses not just to hide their light, but to show it to everyone." Years later, the village faced a terrible season of hardship. Fear spread everywhere, people became divided, neighbors stopped helping one another, hope slowly disappeared. And then something remarkable happened. The same boy, now grown into a young man, remembered the word of the old man. He began helping children learn. He united struggling families. He encouraged young people. He listened to lonely ones and he inspired cooperation among community members. Slowly, the village began to heal. One evening, an elderly woman approached him and said, "You have become like the old man with lantern." The young man smiled and replied, "No, I simply discovered that leadership is not about being the biggest or brightest person in the room. It's about helping others find light." Ladies and gentlemen, that story reminds us that a truth, or it reminds us of a truth our world desperately needs today. Leadership is not about titles, it's about impact. Leadership is not about power, it's about influence. Leadership is not about standing above people, it's about lifting people. And this is why today's summit, Lead to Impact, is both timely and necessary. Today, many people desire visibility, but few desire responsibility. Many want followers, but very few are willing to build something meaningful. That is a meaningful relationship. Many want recognition, but not everyone is willing to serve humanity with integrity. True leadership begins when we stop asking, "What can people do for me?" and start asking, "What difference can I make in the lives of others?" Today, I invite us all to reflect deeply on these three important and powerful pillars: building influence, building relationships, and building meaningful connections. Because in the end, people may forget our titles, but they will never forget the impact we made in their lives. This is why the tagline of the summit is, and very deeply powerful: build influence, relationship, and meaningful connection. Let us now reflect on these three pillars. The first one is build influence. Influence is one of the greatest forms of leadership. True influence cannot be forced, it is earned. People may obey authority temporarily, but they follow influence willingly. Your influence is built through your character, through your consistency, through your competence, and your compassion. The most impactful leaders are not necessarily the loudest people in the room. Sometimes they are the calmest voices, the most reliable individuals, and the people who genuinely care about others. Influence is built daily through how we speak to people, how we handle failure, how we build or respond to criticism, how we treat people who cannot benefit from you, and how you behave when nobody is watching you. A leader who cannot influence positively cannot transform society. Young people today are searching for examples, not empty speeches. They are looking for leaders whose lives watch their words or match their words, sorry. As leaders, we must ask ourselves, are we building people or merely using people? Are we inspiring hope or spreading fear? Are we creating opportunities or controlling access? Are we empowering voices or silencing them? Because leadership without positive influence becomes manipulation, and influence without integrity becomes dangerous. Looking at the next point, which is build relationships. No impactful leader succeed alone. Every great movement in history was built on relationship. Relationships are the invisible bridges that carry vision into reality. Sadly, many people know how to network professionally but do not know how to connect genuinely. We are living in an era where people collect contacts but neglect connections. Leadership is not transactional, it is relational. People may forget your achievements, but they will never forget how you made them feel. a leader must learn. They must learn how to listen, how to understand diverse perspectives, how to collaborate, and how to value people beyond status. Healthy relationships create trust. When relationships are broken, organizations weaken, communities collapse, team becomes toxic, families suffer. One of the greatest leadership skills of the future will not simply be technological intelligence, but emotional intelligence. Can you lead people with empathy? Can you correct without humiliating? Can you disgrace without disrespecting? Can you read without arrogance? Okay, these are the questions that define impactful leadership. As educators, professionals, entrepreneurs, and global citizens, we must remember that people do not grow where they are constantly judged. They grow where they are valued. And thirdly, which is the last point, is build meaningful connection. Not every connection is meaningful. Some connections drain vision. Some connections distract purpose. Some connections are based only on convenience. Meaningful connections are different. They challenge growth, they encourage excellence, they promote purpose, they strengthen humanity. And a meaningful connection is not about who can elevate your status, but who can elevate your thinking. In leadership, your environment matters greatly. Who speaks into your life, who sharpens your ideas, who challenges your limitations, and who reminds you of your values. The right connections can open doors that talent alone cannot open. However, meaningful connections are not built through selfish ambitions. They are built through authenticity, mutual respect, trust, and shared purpose. In a divided world, leaders must become build or bridge builders, let me put it that way. We need leaders who can unite communities, generations, cultures, and nations. Leaders who understand that diversity is not a weakness but a strength. Leaders who can transform competition into collaboration, because impacts grow stronger when people work together. Impactful leadership leaves footprints long after titles disappear. The greatest leaders are remembered not because they were powerful, but because they were purposeful. Years from now, people may not remember the clothes you wore, the cars you drove, and even the applause we received. But they will remember the lives we changed, the hope we restored, the opportunities we created, and the kindness we showed. This impact is when your presence becomes the blessing to humanity. True leadership asks, who is becoming better because of me? What problem am I helping to solve in the world? What legacy am I building? And am I leading people closer to purpose, or okay, okay, sorry. So small acts done consistently create lasting transformation. So, ladies and gentlemen, this generation does not just need educated people. It needs awakened leaders, leaders who rise beyond selfishness, leaders who will lead with wisdom and humanity, leaders who will use influence responsibly, and leaders who will create opportunities for others. Leaders who understand that leadership is a service. So the future will not only be shaped by technology, economics, or politics, it will be shaped by the quality of leadership we choose to embody today. So as we participate in this summit, let us not merely gather information. Let us experience transformation. Let us leave the summit determined to influence positively, to build healthier relationships, to create meaningful connections, and to lead lives that truly matters. Because at the end of this life, success without empathy is empty. But a life that uplifts humanity will always be remembered. Thank you, and may we all rise to lead with purpose, wisdom, and lasting impact. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gloria, ma'am, once again. And yes, we need a leaders who can lead, who can create leaders. So thank you once again for joining and sharing your thoughts. So we have one more guest speaker with us, Sri Kamal Chandra Lohani sir. He's a principal educator. So welcome, sir, and over to you.
Thank you, Akash sir, and thank you very much. Greetings, and good afternoon and good evening, according to your time zone to everybody. And namaste from my side and from India. This is Kamalchand Lohani from today my hometown Sitarganj, Udham Singh Nagar, Uttarakhand. So respected our Akash sir, respected our Gloria ma'am and our Rania ma'am. I think all the other distinguished guests and speakers in this window. Thank you, Akash sir, for giving me this golden opportunity to speak. First, I would like to say, what should I speak in front of Gloria ma'am and Rania ma'am? They are the super gurus of the world. But I would like to try myself the best disciple of Gloria ma'am, the best disciple of Rania ma'am. And it will be a great honor me today to in front of you to prove myself as the best disciple, Akash sir. Before I would like to start speaking on the particular topic, lead to impact, I would like to begin with a quotation. True leadership is not about being above others. It is about bringing out the best in others. It is about bringing in the best in others. So leadership is not about position. It is not about power. It is not about authority. Leadership is about influence. It is about touching lives. I must say, touching hearts, inspiring people, and creating a positive impact wherever we go, whatever we do. Because we are working people, we are working in the institution, we are working in the schools and other places. So if we have to play the role of, so these are the things which we have to keep in our mind. A real leader does not simply command people. A real leader connects with the people because people may forget our words. Yes, definitely. But they never forget how we made them feel. In today's fast moving world, success is not built only on knowledge or talent or hard work. It is built on relationships. The strongest leaders are those who know how to listen properly, attentively, how to understand, and how to encourage and how to support others. Influence is not created through fear, it is created through trust. When leaders are honest, when leaders are kind, respectful, and dependable, people naturally follow them. People really naturally follow them. And influence grows when our actions match our words. It must be kept always in our mind. If we say something, we have to keep that. That is the best quality of the best leader, I must say. Meaningful connections are the foundations of every successful team, every institution, even I must say every family and every organization. When we value people, when we appreciate people, when we appreciate their effort and stand beside them during the difficult times, we build bonds that become stronger than any other challenge. A good leader understands that every person matters. Yes, every person matters. Sometimes a small act of kindness, a few words of encouragement, a few words of appreciation, or simply listening to someone very attentively can change a person's life forever, as we have changed ourselves by listening to our respected Gloria ma'am, the CEO of Work Through Education, and our respected Rania ma'am. A big transformation, a big change has come by listening them. That is the true quality of a leader. Leadership also means lifting others up. That is the main thing. A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. That is the best thing which we have to keep in our mind. In the same way, a true leader helps others grow, succeed, and shine. Great leaders create an environment where people feel respected, valued, they feel motivated and confident. They build bridges, not walls. They unite people, not divide them. In institutions, in our school, in our workplaces, or even society, we need leaders. I must say, even we need a leader in our family. It is very difficult to run a family. We need a leaders who lead with empathy, integrity, and compassion and kindness. Leaders who inspire hope, who create impact not only through achievements but through humanity. So I must say, influence is earned through character. We must keep this thing in our mind. Influence is earned through character. Relationships are built through trust, and meaningful connections are created through care and understanding. If we want to become impactful leader, we must first become a good human being. That is the main requirement. So let us lead with purpose. Let us speak with kindness. Let us work with honesty and connect with the hearts. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Akash, sir. Thank you, Gloria, ma'am. Thank you, Rania, ma'am. And thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Kamal sir, once again. And yes, if we want to be a great leader, we should be a good human being first. So thank you, and thank you,
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
all Rania ma'am, once again for joining with us. We have one more summit on 7th June on same time. So we will join and complete the full series, and then we will have next plans with us, and I will share all the details with all of you once again. So till 7th, please take care. Great day.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Akash, sir, one more request, one humble request. Whenever you are writing my name
Yes, sir.
in the certificates, please write the full name, sir, please. Kamal Chandra Lohani. Otherwise,
Yes,
we are
yes,
getting confused here.
yes,
There are so many people like by this main name, Kamal Lohani, Kamal Lohani, Kamal Lohani.
yes, sir. I already informed the